One. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for episode 86 of the Yellow Card podcast, presented to you by the one and only network out of Boston, Massachusetts, and that is Couch Guy Sports. Make sure that you head over to couchguysports.com, check out all the written content, articles by some of our favorite bloggers, some of our longtime bloggers, and definitely check out all the content that's on the website. There will be a lot of soccer written content coming up soon again once the World Cup gets started, and more of the summer transfer window gets started as well. Your host, as always, Diego Galvez, alongside of Chris Jones. Jones, how you doing today, sir?
Doing good. Good. Yeah, we're doing good. Sorry, something was hanging up and then fell down. I'm just sitting here and I'm going, oh, there's a ghost in my room.
I like it. As always, this podcast is brought to you and powered by our good friends over at Exagon and Shocked Energy. Make sure you use the codes, save some money. 10% goes a long way now, especially with gas prices hiking up like crazy, especially here in Massachusetts and other states in the New England region. With that said, episode 86 starts right now. We got a lot to talk about as the summer transfer window continues to heat up. It's the very beginning of it, and we already got some good storylines going on. Paul Pogba definitely leaving Manchester United. Paulo Dybala growing interest from Inter Milan. Tchouaméni looking to join Real Madrid, as conversations are starting to look really, really good on that end, and as well as some other storylines that are developing as of today. We also got some World Cup conversations to talk about, as we saw some action happen over the weekend. And last but not least, whatever Mr. Jones wants to add on at the end of the episode. So with that said, Jones, why don't we get started? What would you like to get started with?
Your call, Skip.
All right, well, let's get started with the World Cup. This guy, I can't even take him serious. Let's get started with the World Cup. As we all know, Wales advances to the World Cup after 60 plus years of not attending to a FIFA World Cup, after beating Ukraine, taking care of business on that end. So for starters, nothing but respect to Ukraine. Wonderful game played against Wales. Very physical, very equivalent in terms of skills and what they had to offer. Just Wales found a way to get things done. It was unfortunate for Yarmolenko. It was an own goal on his end. But soccer is one of those things that, fortunately, everything happens until the very end of the whistle. So congratulations to Gareth Bale and company on advancing to their World Cup. We will see more international action happening this week, as there is more to be resolved on that end as to who will be moving on to the World Cup, especially out of the qualifying rounds. We already know that big countries are going to be participating in the World Cup this year. Got Brazil, Argentina, Uruguay, Germany, Portugal, USA, Mexico, and a bunch of others that will be on this World Cup edition. But we are waiting on about 3 to 4 more teams to be finalized on that front to realize what the World Cup will be bringing this year. But the first surprise, as always, this time is Wales. Wales making history after 60 plus years of not being in a World Cup. What did you think of this? What do you have to add on to this matchup, Jones?
I think Wales now officially being the first team that the U.S. will play in the World Cup is definitely it's going to be a good little group for them right now. I think realistically speaking, looking at that group alone now, Wales could potentially play a little bit tougher than people give them credit for here, especially against the teams like U.S. and England. So I think Ukraine would have made it fun. Would have been a good story. But I think the Wales team is a little bit more deeper. And with, having guys like Gareth Bale and Aaron Ramsey and company, I think it just helps that national team very well. I'm excited to see where it goes from here. I mean, we got the other qualifier technically. So we're recording Monday the 6th. They will take place Tuesday the 7th. It's UAE and Australia. So that's something to look forward to. I think you and I both can agree that we both think Australia moves on there.
Yep. Yeah.
Okay. So, I mean, so they'll go into Group E with France, Denmark, and Tunisia. Also, speaking of that group, the streak might live on this time around. Did you see? You catch any of the Nations League this past weekend?
No, I didn't get a
The
chance to
UEFA
know.
Nations League.
No.
Guess who played in the UEFA Nations League? France and Denmark.
Oh God.
Denmark beat France. We setting up for it again. Like, is France not going to make it out of the group again? The defending champ going to miss it again? Like, how are we going to play this? I'm curious to see how the World Cup plays out here. I'm looking forward to seeing everything. We get that one, and then I think there's one more. I think we're still waiting on Costa Rica and New Zealand to join Spain, Germany, and Japan.
And then we're waiting
as well.
We're waiting on Peru and is it New Zealand that they're taking on?
No, who's Peru playing? Hold on. Peru soccer. I'm so confused. So
yeah, I think it's New
Oh
Zealand.
yeah, no, they're taking on. They beat New Zealand.
Oh, they beat New Zealand, so they will be going.
I'm sorry. They beat New Zealand in a friendly. They take on the winner of Australia and UAE.
Oh boy.
So whoever wins that goes in the Group D.
Okay.
That's what it is. Okay. That's Monday, June 13th.
Oh boy. I'll be praying for my Peruvians on Twitter and in real life.
Oh, what a dude! 2 p.m. start time there.
Which is what time on us?
No, 2 p.m. Eastern. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll be glued to the TV at that time.
When is New Zealand playing next? I gotta see this. I should have came better prepared, I guess.
Yeah, it happens.
So they play Costa Rica Tuesday the 14th at 2 p.m. It's next week. So we can talk about that in a little bit. But yeah, no, the Nations League so far. So things have kind of caught my eye. So France in it so far, not looking great. France is 0-1-1. They lost to Denmark. What was it? 2-1.
Okay.
And then they drew with Croatia.
Okay.
So that's not a good one. Another one, Italy and Germany went to a 1-1 draw. Pellegrini scored in the 70th minute for the Italians, and 3 minutes later, Joshua Kimmich scored to make that 1-1. Italy plays Hungary tomorrow for that group. That group. So looking at these groups, man, like Group A, Denmark, Austria, France, Croatia, cool. Group 2 in League A, you got Portugal, Czech, Spain, and Swiss. Group 3, ready for this? Hungary, Germany, Italy, England.
Oh my God, that's the group of death.
And guess what? Hungary already beat England 1-0.
Yeah, that's a group of death right there for sure.
League A, Group 4, you got Netherlands, Poland, Wales, and Belgium. And then you scroll down a little bit, you go to League B. I mean, you got Scotland in there, you got Ukraine in there, Ireland, Armenia. Group 2, you got Iceland, Israel, Albania, Russia. Group 3, Montenegro, Bosnia and
Herzegovina.
That's the one. Finland and Romania, Norway, Serbia, Sweden, Slovenia. And then League C, you got Turkey, Luxembourg, Lithuania, and the Faroe Islands, Greece, Kosovo, Northern Ireland, and Cyprus, Kazakhstan, Slovakia, Belarus, and Azerbaijan, Georgia, North Macedonia, Bulgaria, and Gibraltar, Latvia, Moldova, Andorra, and Liechtenstein, and then Malta, Estonia, and then obviously my friends over in San Marino. But so coming up in the Nations League this week, We have Germany and England play tomorrow at 2:45 Eastern. Italy and Hungary will play. You'll get Belgium and Poland on Wednesday. Wales and Netherlands on Wednesday. Thursday, you'll get Switzerland and Spain, Portugal and Czech Republic. Friday, you'll get Austria and France, Denmark, Croatia. Saturday, you'll get England and Italy at 2:45. Hungary and Germany again, Wales and Belgium. And then match day 4, you'll get on Sunday. Where was that? Spain and Czech Republic, and then Switzerland and Portugal.
Okay.
Before we move into the next time we record next week.
So clearly, a lot of action, a lot of action lining up to the World Cup, which is great. I mean, we get to see what some of these teams will need in terms of reinforcements before the World Cup. Some of these teams might be working on in terms of strengthening their current efficiencies. So a lot to follow up with this Nations League for sure. Moving on, let's talk about the summer transfer window real quick because there's a lot of action happening here. As always, make sure that if you are not following us yet, make sure that you follow us at Podcast Card on Twitter. We've been keeping up with all the updates coming from whether Fabrizio Romano or any other outlet out there, keeping us informed of what's going on in the summer transfer window. Right now, so far, we got a few updates. We know that we have learned as of about 10 minutes ago that Leandro Paredes will be looking to stay with Paris Saint-Germain. It was mentioned earlier in the season that there could be possibilities of him returning to the Argentinian league to join Boca Juniors. However, he's decided that it's best for him to stay, as right now he's not prepared to leave the club, nor looking to go back to Argentina just yet. Speaking of PSG as well, over the weekend, we found out new rumors, new storylines developing as in the potential next 24 to 48 hours. We could be learning that Mauricio Pochettino would be looking to be sacked by PSG. And guess what? The immediate replacement for Mr. Pochettino will be none other than the special one, Mr. Jose Mourinho, who came out on an interview and said and admitted that while he does have a project to continue in Roma, he would like to continue in Roma if PSG approached him and offer him a possibility to coach his favorite soccer player of current time, Lionel Messi. He will go from being the special one to being the above one. Thoughts on this? Thoughts on potentially Pochettino joining PSG?
Pochettino leaving PSG?
I mean, yeah, Pochettino leaving PSG and Mourinho joining PSG.
Listen, I think it's crazy regardless. I mean, we knew we were going to get some sort of shakeup with PSG this summer, especially with Pochettino, but I don't think either of us expected Jose Mourinho to be the first guy that stepped in.
Mm-hmm.
I think Pochettino will have other offers elsewhere as well.
Mm-hmm.
I already have rumors on one that could be a very, very, very good landing spot for him, I think, and could very much so keep the club afloat based on them losing their top guy already in the transfer window as well. So for me, Mourinho, I like the fit there. I think he can definitely, I talked about this off air, he can definitely help take PSG to the next level, especially in the big European competition, also known as the Champions League. So I'm not worried about it. If it happens, it happens. If not, where does PSG go from there? We'll have to wait and see. But if Pochettino is to leave, there is one spot, and it's not in La Liga, and it's not in the Prem either. It's in the Bundesliga, and that's with Borussia Dortmund. They're still looking for a manager. Daniel Fark, he's now the Borussia Gladbach manager. Dortmund needs a new manager, and I think if Pochettino's available, if I'm Dortmund, that's who I'm going to get.
I don't hate it. I don't hate that. I think personally that if Pochettino was to leave, I think we could be looking at him going to Italy. to potentially be the next coach for somebody like, who knows, maybe Napoli, maybe Atalanta if they're looking to get rid of their current coach.
Napoli still has what's his face from Juventus, though, right?
Who?
What was his name? Ronaldo couldn't stand him. He was the manager, but the manager before Andrea Pirlo. I can't think of his fucking name right now.
Oh, Maurizio Sarri.
Yeah, I think. Yeah. That's the one.
I think you might be right. I'm not entirely sure on that. I will need to check on that. But Pochettino would have plenty of landing options for sure. He is one of the most desired coaches all around Europe. Anyways, he has a very good grasp of European football. So if Pochettino was to be sacked out of PSG, we would not be surprised if he lands on his feet in the upcoming weeks. However, the Mourinho front surprises me a lot. I think it might be best for him to actually stay with Roma. I think at PSG, there's too much dirty laundry happening already. And even with the team that he will be acquiring right now at PSG, he will not be able to get it done. You will need far more signings, and currently, I'm not entirely sure that PSG can afford to make more signings, especially with how much of their expenditures they have made over the past 3-5 years. So I'm not entirely sure on PSG looking to sack Pochettino. I think it's a dumb idea on their end. Just know that the manager that will be coming in for this will be looking to ask for serious signings, and they're not going to be able to get it. So PSG right now is in a lot of turmoil. There's also rumors that there was a huge blacklist of players that Mbappe wants out, and that's the whole and sole reason as to why Mbappe decided to stay with PSG. Whether this list is true or not is still yet to be realized or uncovered. But frankly, for PSG, it just doesn't look good right now. It just does not at all. Moving on from that, there is two storylines that we're following very closely. The first one is Juventus looking more than confident at this point right now to potentially get Paul Pogba back to their team. This is the guy that, if you ask Drake what he was thinking about when he wrote back to back, this is the guy that comes to mind, because this guy left Manchester United to return to Manchester United, now left Juventus to return to Juventus, basically, if this does happen. What do we think? What do we think if Pogba decides to join Juventus once again?
Well, dude, first things first. You got to stop. Here's stuff hanging out with the intern off camera, because you two just talking these sayings you two come up with, I'm just not a fan of. We'll put that in perspective right there. Well, I think the Juventus move for Pogba is good for two reasons. One, because you solidify your midfield. You know what kind of world-class talent Paul Pogba is, and getting him back onto your squad is good for a team that's trying to get back on top of the Serie A. But also, too, Paul Pogba's agent is also the agent of your very talented center back in Matthias de Ligt. So that helps you right there, because you get in good graces with that agent and makes de Ligt maybe want to stay a little bit more. Maybe you give him some money so he'll stay, and you can continue to build around him for years to come. Who knows? We'll see. But I like the move for them. Juventus, I think it's a good little move. And I wouldn't be surprised if that's just the start, because I think realistically, Massimiliano Allegri is going to have a very, very, very busy summer.
Yeah, I mean, in a way, I kind of feel bad for Allegri, because he knew exactly what he's walking in. He's walking into a situation where he's gotta make very wise and sustainable choices, I guess, one way to say it, because their budget right now is extremely tight. Two, Got to worry about the Matthias Elite storyline there, as you just mentioned. And 3, like, okay, you get Paul Pogba back, but does that really sound like a good idea considering this guy struggled to stay healthy all the seasons that he was in the Premier League? You know, that it's very worrisome. So I, in a way, it excites me for Pogba because he'll be able to go to a team where he'll be able to have a direct impact. But in a way, worries me for Juventus, especially with how they're spending money left and right now.
Sorry, something on my floor. I just listen. I think that's one thing we have to talk about. Is that I think another thing we have to talk about, and we have to talk about it because I think it's going to become bigger news in the next coming week. We heard a little bit of rumblings about it this weekend, Diego, but Mason Mount potentially out of Chelsea, potentially to Manchester United. What are we thinking?
Personally, I think that if Chelsea was to make this move, it would be very wise of them, considering that right now they need to start making some sort of monetary returns, especially as the new club ownership will be looking to start to have return on investment. This was a huge investment that they just did. Yeah, there's some liquidity money available that they can use to further expand the team. But somebody like Mason Mount right now that they don't necessarily rely on heavily, especially when you got Hakim Ziyech and others available. You know, you kind of are willing to bite the bullet and let them go. In the meantime, though, for United, somebody like Mason Mount and the stature of a player that he is, in addition to how well he's played so far for Chelsea, this would be a huge upgrade for Manchester United. This would be amazing for them.
Yeah, it was just a good addition to the midfield. They need it.
Absolutely.
Very, very much so in the attacking force of it because, you know, we saw how gassed Bruno Fernandes was at times this season. So getting a guy like Mason Mount to kind of take a little bit of the load off of them could provide good longevity for Bruno Fernandes throughout a long, grueling season.
Yeah, I agree that.
What was another one? I mean, we're still waiting on the Lewandowski stuff with Bayern. What about the guy that went to Inter Milan? I can't pronounce his last name. He's leaving from AC Milan, the winger.
Oh,
Mkhitaryan, right?
Yeah, Henrik Mkhitaryan. Yeah.
So that he's going to become a new Inter player. That's a good one. I mean, we got Matic leaving Man United for Roma. Justin Lingard's officially leaving Manchester United as well. Waiting here on where he ends up. Liverpool and Bayern can't come to an agreement with Sadio Mane. But there's another thing that I read is that Sadio Mane might forego Bayern's offer and join one of his childhood club teams. Do you know who that is?
Oh, on the Sadio front of things, yeah. If this does happen, oh boy. Personally, I have a funny feeling. Could just be Real Madrid swinging in.
I don't think he ends up in Madrid. I realistically think he might go back to his childhood team. I think he might go to Marseille.
I think that would be pointless of him because then he wouldn't be seeing any Champions League football.
I don't know. Just a weird feeling I have. I don't know. We'll wait and see more about that. But
now,
Sadio Mane stuff's definitely going to be.
The only other thing that I can think of, which would be absolutely bonkers and would rattle this league even more than it's been rattled, is if let's say Liverpool actually does cash in on then Darwin Alvarez or Nunez or whatever his last name is.
Nunez.
Let's say that Liverpool does cash in on Darwin Nunez possibilities of signing him. What's to say that Manchester United won't be pissed enough to take Sadio Mane off of your hands?
I don't know. Just
keep in mind, Erik ten Hag has come out before and said how much he loves how Sadio Mane plays.
Oh, I know. I'm aware of that. I just think for me, it's they need to get this situated because they need to focus on the Mohamed Salah stuff. Because if they don't get him a contract by next year and he leaves for free, they're taking 4 to 5 years back already. And that's not good, especially for someone who just locked in Jurgen Klopp for an extension.
Yep.
So they need to get the Sadio situation figured out because they need to pay Mohamed Salah. Plain and simple. But I don't know. I mean, realistically speaking, what other things could we potentially see out of this transfer window?
I think we need to, in a way, be very watchful of potentially Gianluigi Donnarumma going out on loan.
Yeah.
Keylor Navas is still in the paybook, with PSG looking to capitalize on some additional funding, and Donnarumma being one of the most expensive signings that they have made last couple of years. Donnarumma could be out on loan, and who is to say that Donnarumma wouldn't be going on loan to a team like Borussia Dortmund, Inter Milan, Barcelona? Who's to say?
I don't know. I think, realistically speaking, I think one of two things could happen with that. I think Donnarumma could end up back in the Italian league for a year again.
Mm-hmm.
But I wouldn't be surprised if Newcastle can't get any of the goalkeepers they want. I wouldn't be surprised if they try to loan him out for a year.
Mm-hmm.
You know? So, especially with that's another thing too. Did you hear who potentially could be leaving Newcastle?
No, I missed that on that storyline actually.
Alan St. Maxime.
Oh boy. Oh.
There's rumblings. He stays in the Premier League, but he's playing in Champions League next year. There's rumblings he goes to Tottenham.
If he goes to Tottenham to replace Bergwijn, that is huge.
There's rumblings. Bergwijn obviously going back to Ajax, which we saw coming. But listen, there are rumblings going on that if that's the case, buddy. I don't know. That's the potential. Newcastle's going to be a team to watch out for this summer. I'm still waiting to see what they're going to pull out of their sleeves.
I'm very intrigued with what they're looking to do. This ownership is crystal clear with the fact that they are done messing around, and they are done being a bottom feeder, basically how they've been for as long as the past 8-10 years now. They're here to make a statement. Oh, and that's another thing. Now that Jesse Lingard has also decided that he's leaving Manchester United, Lingard has been a target of Newcastle for quite a while too. It would not surprise me at all if Jesse Lingard joins Newcastle somewhere where he can be a major impact, or if West Ham finally decides to cash in the money and sign him as well. So
agreed. Either one of those would be great fits for him.
Roma is also said to be one of the teams where Jesse Lingard could be going to because Jose Mourinho, I should say, is a big fan of how Lingard plays and wants to bring him back to the status he once was in.
Right.
So I don't know. I think there's a lot of storylines to be developed. It's like I mentioned. Please make sure that you are following Podcast Card on Twitter. Um, it's going to be a very wild summer transfer window. A lot of teams looking to rebuild. And there's just one more storyline that we found out about earlier today. Um, that listen, if this does happen, it would be the epitome of this whole entire year for Arsenal. And that is Gabriel Jesus drawing interest from one of the giants in Europe, and that is Real Madrid. If Real Madrid decides to come in and just steal Gabriel Jesus from the interest lines of Arsenal, it is just, oh man, it is just insane. Absolutely insane that this does happen.
Yeah, I'd listen. If Arsenal fumbles the bag on a name like that, I don't know, man. It's gonna be tough for Mikel Arteta to pull off the performance he did last year.
At that point, just hang it up, man. At that point, just hang it up. But listen, like we said, a lot more to be developed in the summer transfer window. It is early. The transfer window is still young. There's a lot to happen.
We're not even crisping in the summer yet.
No, we're not even. We're barely just putting the tan lotion. That's really it. But at this point, continue to follow us on Twitter at Podcast Card. We just surpassed the 1,300 follower mark. Make sure that you're following us and help us get to 1,400. Make sure that you're following Couch Guy Sports on Twitter at Couch Guy Sports. Follow us on our individual Twitters, Chris Jones, SC Jones Who 1212, and Diego _ the DJ. Until next episode, signing off, Diego Galvez, Chris Jones. Thank you all so much.